Welcome to this week's edition of Hawk Talk. I'm Seth Morkirky.
I'm Susanna Moberg.
And we have a special guest to the show. Their season's just starting up, so go ahead and introduce yourself, where you're from, and what you do here at DSU.
Kristen Fleury, head softball coach. I'm originally from San Jose, California, but I guess I call Dickinson home.
Yeah, that's good. Same. It's February, but you've already got to play a few softball games. Tell us, this past weekend you were able to travel and play inside. What was that like to play inside for these girls and for you coaching?
Well, it was good to get out of Weenbergen. We have obviously spent a lot of weeks in Weenbergen practicing. So to go down to Aberdeen and play in their dome, we have an opportunity to play 8 games before we go down to Tucson. And it's a little different. There's some different rules and stuff, but, we're not playing against ourselves anymore. We get to see other teams, and we can kind of, come back to the drawing board once we play a couple games to see really what we need to work on. Yeah,
and you personally had a pretty big weekend this past weekend. It was 9 seasons in 1 game. We're heading into your 10th season, but you had your 300th win. So you're now officially over 300 wins, which is incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What does that feel like as a coach and, to be coaching at your former school?
Well, it's just a testament to what the current players, former players, future players have done for this program, the administration, everybody that has poured their heart and soul into this program. They've made it easy. We've had some up and down seasons, and like I said, after the game, all 300 have, had its up and downs, and it continued to do so, but it was fun. The kids made it special, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's great.
And Seth mentioned that you played here too when you were going to college. How have you seen DSU change and grow over the years?
Well, when I came here in 2005, seems like forever ago, it was Guy Fridley had just, started building the program and stuff, and, we started recruiting kids from the West Coast that have, more of an opportunity to play all year round. The 2 years that I played here, we were pretty successful. That first year, we missed the national tournament because we lost in the regionals. And then the second year, my senior year, we were able to win the regionals here in Dickinson and went to the national tournament for the first time in school history. So we kind of just continued, obviously try to continue what Coach Fridley had started here, and, we hope to continue that as well.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And going into this season, you are the reigning conference champs. Is that affecting anything about how you're going into the season?
No, I don't think so. I think we're, we won a conference championship last year, and we weren't expected to, so it was a lot of fun to win that. I think the last time I was on the show was after we won that, but, I think we're still, I guess I would say teams in our conference don't really believe in us yet. Again, so they're kind of counting us out, but we're just going to take it game by game. We have a smaller roster size, so we have 13 kids that are hungry. A lot of seniors, 7 seniors that they have that experience. They know what it's like to play in championship games. They know what it's like to go to the national tournament. So we're just really taking it one game by game.
Yeah, and a couple weeks ago you had the crab feed. Again,
he
I
always
explain things
himself.
for myself, but the softball team had the crab feed, the 3rd annual, and it was a bit different than it's been in the past. Previously, you'd been doing it with the college baseball team, but you partnered with the high school softball team. So talk about what that was, partnering with a different entity and getting the community out and then raising dollars.
We obviously, with baseball being cut, we didn't know what we were going to do. We knew we couldn't do it by ourselves. Right. So we took, I guess, a leap of faith and, asked the high school and the Diamonds program to come on board with us. We just thought it would be a really good idea to, conjoin softball. Softball in the community of Dickinson is just growing. Yeah. If we could use them, they can use us in all these different ways. And, it was unbelievable, the support we had. We've had our biggest crowd we've ever had there. We had 220 people in the door. It was a fun night. We raised a lot of money, and we hope it continues to grow, because it does help our program. It helps us go down to Arizona. It helps offset the costs for our student athletes, what they have to individually fundraise, and it allows us to do some different things, travel gear, stuff like that. So it was an exciting. It's a lot of work, but it's all worth it in the end.
Yeah, and the crab was very good. It's my first time eating crab, but it was really good.
For real?
For real.
I do like crab. I didn't make it, but
next
year.
year.
I can't believe your first time.
First time.
Yeah, you mentioned fundraising to go to Arizona, and you head to Arizona in a few weeks, right?
Yeah.
What kind of things are you expecting to see as a team when you get down to Arizona?
It's an opportunity for us to get a lot of games in a short amount of time. The kids are they're gonna be tired. Yeah. They're probably gonna be sick of softball after those 10 days, but we get to play 14 games in 10 days. Friends and family, we have a great crowd that comes out and supports us. So we're just trying to see, what works for us and prepare us for our conference season, which starts the following week once we get back.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Looking back at 14 games, that'll be fun. Looking back at this past weekend, you guys went 3-1, beat number 4 ranked York, and then lost to Morningside, who is also receiving votes. Talk through the 4 games that you played. I know we had a shutout in that first game, which was incredible, but just talk through those games.
Yeah, sophomore Jaya Allen came out, and she was just unbelievable. She was fun to watch. She was unbelievable on the mound for us. We beat a Dort team just to start off the season, just that momentum. You obviously always want to start on top, and she shut them down, and, Dort came back and beat Jamestown 21 in the country the next day. Wow. So for her to have 12 strikeouts and give up 1 little blooper hit that I was hoping wasn't going to happen, but it was fun to watch. The energy, the kids played well, and as a team, we're not a big offensive team. We're more, get on base, make things happen, execute, bunt, take some extra bases. And we did that in the Dort game, and we ran ourselves out of some base, runs because we took extra chances. But, those things are going to happen, and we don't know if they're going to work unless we try them. So that's kind of, our motto going into our offensive season is just, make things happen. So yeah, it was fun, and then the nightcap, we played Dakota Westland. Abby Brooks Sr. started the game, and I don't know if she had a little pressures because of the performance Jaya had the first game, if she put a little pressure on herself. She struggled a little bit, but Abby's a different type of pitcher, and we made a lot of defensive miscues early on that allowed them to score some runs. We pulled Jaya back in to finish the game, and we started getting things going on offense towards the end of the game. But it was fun. It was a good weekend considering, it's February for us to come out 3-1. To be honest, that doesn't happen often for Dickinson State softball. We always start kind of the opposite way and just continue to get better. So hopefully we continue to get better off of this 3-1 record as well.
Yeah. And a great first weekend for you guys. What are some things, building off that weekend, that you're most excited about for the season to come?
I think it's just the team itself. When I talk about we have a small team, as a coach, we've always had teams of 18 to 22, and it's hard to get to know those kids. And we have 13 on our roster, and you can just get to know them on a different level. We only have 13 kids to get to know. They only have 4 of us to get to know. So just that connection with the players, and I talked about we have 7 seniors, just the leadership that they bring. They're just, it's a fun team to watch. And so we're excited, and we're going to, like I said earlier, going to take it game by game.
Yeah. Some of those connections are probably things that you remember most about, playing here at DSU. So looking back on your career as an athlete and now as a coach, what does DSU mean to you?
Well, obviously DSU is my life. Back in 2005, I had told Coach Fridley I was on a 2-year plan. 14 years later, here I still am. And just to have the opportunity to be here, and I think it's the community that has rallied behind us, and as we're all probably aware of, the start that I got as a head coach wasn't probably the best start, with the circumstances that in the cards we were dealt. But just to see the community rally behind us and continue to support us. And that's what we try to sell to our recruits. We truly are a family. Yeah. And at the end of the day, it isn't about the wins and losses. It's about the friendships and the experiences and all those things that, you build on. Yeah. And you talk about that, the things that you were going to remember. We were just on a road trip out in Aberdeen, and we get stuck behind a train for 2.5 hours. We get to Jamestown finally. We grab something to eat. We get on the bus. The bus is engine light failure comes on. We turn around. We're stuck at the bus stop. We end up taking a school bus back from Jamestown to Dickinson 2.5 later, and I heard one of the kids in the back, and they're like, Coach, I'm just going to chalk this up as an experience. And that's exactly, what it is. They probably will never remember that we went 3-1 that weekend, but they're going to remember the bus broke down, and we ended up taking a school bus back from Jamestown to Dickinson. So.
Yeah. It's all about the memories. Yeah. Well, Coach, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Excited for the season. This is just the beginning, and we got a lot left to go. So good luck the rest of the season. Hopefully we can get you on a little bit more.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we'll be back talking with one of her athletes right after this.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk. We've got an athlete who we talked a little bit about in our earlier segment, but we'll give her the opportunity to introduce yourself, where you're from, and what you do here at DSU.
My name's Jaya Allen. I'm from Spokane, Washington, and I am a sophomore pitcher.
Great. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your journey from Washington to DSU?
Okay, I played softball at Shadle Park High School in Spokane, Washington, and then I got recruited to a school in Arizona called Yavapai College, where I spent my freshman year. And then after that, we had a really good year. And then it just started becoming like softball was more of a hassle. My coach didn't really make me love it as much. So I was just kind of contemplating whether I wanted to play anymore. And so then this summer, my boyfriend plays for the Big Sticks. So I came and visited him, and I got in contact with Coach Fleury, and here I am today playing softball.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Yeah, we're glad you're here.
Thanks.
You know, looking back on this past weekend, you guys had a really incredible weekend, you individually and as a team. Talk about what it feels like to start 3-1 as a team.
It's a really good feeling. I know that some of the girls in the past have said they haven't started really well. Some years are different than others, but we were all just really eager to actually play games. I mean, after you get back from winter break, it's just like the grind when you're practicing, working out, all that type of stuff. So we were just really eager to go out and play and get some games in. So it was a really good feeling when we had an overall really good weekend. So.
Yeah. You had a shutout in the first game of the season. You talked about that amazing feeling, but how did the girls react to that?
Everybody was really excited. I mean, we just wanted to go out and get our first win for Coach Fleury for her 300th win. So it was just a team effort. I mean, I did my job in the circle the best I could, but we got the bats going, and really, it was a good team win. So.
And Coach talked a little bit about how, you know, we're not the biggest offensive, not the greatest, not the biggest offensive unit. Usually it's just to get on base and get to the next level type thing. But you guys really did really well offensively. So where did all of that stem from? Just, I mean, it was a successful weekend. So where does that stem from for you guys?
I mean, I think just the pitch selection, we need to work on that. But we overall did really well on taking pitches, getting walks. I mean, obviously we didn't get a hit every at bat, but really taking pitches and getting on base, and then allowing some hitters just to drive people in. And I think that's one of the things we need to work on. But I think for the first weekend, that's what we did well too. So
yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
As a pitcher, I can just imagine it's kind of probably an isolating feeling to be out on that mound, and like it's almost just you versus them the whole game. So how do you individually overcome that doubt and that maybe worry that kind of creeps up a little bit, and just encourage yourself throughout the game?
I just take every batter differently. I mean, if I can see a girl gets in and she looks nervous, I automatically own them. Yeah. So I just go in there, and I mean, it's just a fight between us two, and you just have to block everything out. I mean, obviously there's sound everywhere, but it's just like tunnel vision. So, cool. Yep.
Good.
And this past weekend, you were playing in a dome, right? Playing indoor. What's the difference between playing an indoor game and an outdoor game? Or do you even tell that there's a difference?
It's definitely different. I mean, obviously the environment, there's no wind. It's not really cold. I mean, it gets kind of hot, but I mean, it's different. I personally like pitching in a dome better than I do in the dirt, but I mean, everybody's different. The rules are different. Obviously, if it hits the ceiling, you can still catch it, but if you don't, it's a foul ball. I've played in a dome once or twice. Being from Washington, we obviously get rain, so yeah, I mean, I personally like it, so yeah.
Cool. And you're heading to Minot in a few weeks, and then Arizona shortly after that. How are you guys feeling about getting to play in some warm weather, play outside?
Yeah, everybody's really excited. I'm definitely excited just because I played in Arizona last year, so I kind of know what to expect and like weather-wise. I know some of the freshmen are really excited. AJ, she's from Canada, so she's really excited to go down in the heat. But yeah, we're excited to play a lot of games in a short amount of time. Just keep busy and like kind of have a break from school because it's spring break, so it'll be nice.
Yeah. And the softball program is a really successful program, and I think that stems from the competition that you guys always have. There's always competition happening within and like against each other, but there's also just a family that exists there. So talk about how you guys balance both of those things, that competition and that family.
I think just overall we really encourage each other. Like in bullpens, like all the pitchers are just motivating each other to get better every day. I mean, obviously it's a competition who wants to pitch in the circle, and depending on the game and the team we play. But overall we just really encourage each other to be better, because if everybody's better, then we'll be better as a whole. So.
That's great. Well, thank you for coming on, Jaya. We're
thank you.
Looking forward to this season. Congratulations on this past weekend, and hopefully we can get you on a little bit more.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we'll be back talking with another coach right after this.
Life is full of many successes, achievements, stages. Every year we grow, things change, and pretty soon we realize we want and need to do more. When you're ready for that next step, Dickinson State University will get you there. Find out how at dsublue.com.
Well, welcome back to Hot Talk. We have a guest who's been on the show, but we're going to have you introduce yourself, where you're from, and what you do here at DSU.
I'm Josh Vaughn. I'm from Bram, Minnesota, and I'm the men's basketball coach.
And you guys had a very exciting finish to the season. You finished 6-0, 6 out of the 7 games you won, and you beat the 2 number 1 ranked teams back-to-back weekends. So just talk about how the finish was and what the guys are feeling.
Yeah, I mean, feeling good. Obviously, winning 6 in a row.
Yeah.
I don't want to be too overconfident coming into tonight, but we're just playing well. I think we're enjoying playing with each other. Practices have been more fun. When you win, everything's a little bit better. And we've been playing well and setting ourselves up to win games. We have been just playing better defensively and been more engaged through these 6 games. So it's been a fun couple of weeks.
Yeah, and having those that 6-game win streak put you guys in 4th place in the conference. So you're hosting Valley City for the first round. I'm not gonna have you look too far ahead, but I'm looking ahead at the conference. And we really control our destiny. You guys control your destiny, and it's exciting to watch. So talk about what that feeling is.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it's the number 1 goal coming into the season is always to host a home playoff game. Obviously, you want to win the conference, but to host a home playoff game and being able to have everybody come and watch the game here is a big deal for us. So being able to do that was a good thing. And like you said, you don't want to look too far ahead, and we don't even talk about Friday or Saturday, the next game at all. We just worry about Valley City and about tonight. But as a coach, you're hoping your guys don't look ahead, and we haven't even discussed who we're going to play because we don't know yet. So I hope our guys are just focused on tonight and just worrying about playing well, and then we'll worry about tomorrow.
Yep, that's good.
Kenny Jackson just had his 2nd week as the North Star Player of the Week. What does this say about him, about our program?
I know Kenny's a guy who's started the year off and he wasn't playing as well as he thought he could play, as well as we thought he could play. Just his percentages were off, and he wasn't just accustomed to everything. Everybody, we had 13 new guys on a team this year, so getting acclimated to everybody and how they want to play, I think had a little bit to do with it. But recently in conference, he's just shot the ball really well, and lately he's been really a lot more focused defensively, which has allowed him to relax on offense because he's just kind of more worried about defense. So when you do that, it's kind of funny how your offense works. Sometimes you just focus on guarding what you're supposed to do on defense, and you play better on offense. So he's played well for us. Hopefully he can keep that up. Yeah,
and looking at the team itself, looking at the guys, you can tell there's just a confidence. Even in you, there's a confidence just heading into this tournament, and you could see it brewing pretty much all season. But talk about what that's done for. You've already talked about it a little bit, but just what that's done to put that level of competition.
Well, I think having, like we talked about the first time I said, we had so many injuries and so many guys out from the first part of the season that we weren't able to even have a good cohesive practice because we had so many guys just standing on the sideline. And once we got everybody back, practices have been better. We've had a better feeling, and we just started to play more comfortable with each other. And then, winning 6 games, it just helps. Every game we win, it's just more confidence. Yeah. And so at this point of the year, we beat, like you said, we beat the number 1 and 2 seeds in this little 6-game win streak. So I know our guys are extremely confident going into the game, and that's a good place to be. I'd rather be confident than having lost a couple in a row and going into the tournament. So it's a good place to be. We just have to go and execute now.
Yeah, we had Michael on the show last week, and we've had Austin on the show. We had a couple Melvin on the show. Yeah. Those guys, and even Dante and Austin, everyone on the team is really finding their role on the play. The starters are finding their role, and then you got the guys on the bench who are coming in and finding their role. So talk about what the depth does for the team and what that breeds in competition as well. Yeah, I mean, we have a bunch of guys who can play, and like we've talked about a little bit before, is our practices when we've been able to have everybody back. It's just we've played so differently from the start of the year until now, just because of the roster turnover and when having guys out for injury. And now we're finally able to get to a spot where everybody knows exactly what they're supposed to do coming into the game. When coming in from the bench, how you're supposed to bring energy, what you're supposed to do defensively, what you're supposed to do on offense. So when you have cohesion that way, when you just know what your role is, it just helps. You're not worried about coming out. You're not worried about do I have to play 40 minutes. You're just focused on what you need to do for your select time in there. And and our practices are frankly more competitive now too, because we have everybody back. So it's just we play a lot more now, and there's a lot more trash talk, and it's fun. It's a lot more fun when there's competitiveness in practice, and it helps with games. When you're competitive in practice, come out there and it's just routine for you. It's normal. So it's been it's been a lot fun couple of weeks, like I said. Yeah, that's good.
From the coaching standpoint, what is your game plan going into Valley game tonight?
Well, for me, I'm just trying to, first of all, get our guys to play the best that they can and worry about us first. We talk about Valley. Valley's a team that just beat Mayville, a team that we hadn't beat this year, so we know that they're a good team coming in. We don't want to be overconfident, like I said earlier, but we did beat them last time, but Valley did beat us on our home floor the first time we played them. So I know that our guys are hopefully not looking forward past this game, but as a coach, you just kind of make sure your guys are locked in for the moment, not worrying about the next day or the next, because there is no really tomorrow for us. We have to win the tournament to keep playing. We will not get in that large bid for the national tournament, so it is 3 games, but we only can worry about tonight. And as a coach, you just want your guys to focus on what they can do tonight to play well. Right.
Yeah. We talked with Michael about his go-to meal before a game. We talked with Lacey about her go-to song and meal before a game. Do you have any rituals that you do every game day, or did you when you were a player?
When I was a player, I used to take naps before when I could play, but now I can't sleep like that as a coach. I'm old now, so I can't sleep. But usually I just go home and play with my son a little bit. Then my wife picks out all my clothes, because she's got the style. So that's kind of routine. I go home and play with my son. We play with some cars or some, PJ Masks stuff. And then just, hang out with the wife, eat a meal before, and then come up. But, other than that, I don't really have a routine now as a coach.
Well, looking, this is the last question we'll ask. Looking ahead into this tournament, you had success as a player and as a coach at your, just the past couple of years. What does it take for a team? You've mentioned it all throughout the interview, but what does it take for a team to just make a run?
It's funny. Like I'll tell our guys today, winning games in the tournament isn't really different than winning games earlier. It's just doing the things that you're taught to do and you're supposed to do better. It's going to take just jump stops, not turning the ball over, just all the little things. It's not going to be the team that comes out and shoots a great percentage. It's going to be the team that comes out and is in the right place defensively. They're in a stance. And they're making their layups, they're finishing, they're making their free throws. Just little things win at the end of the games, at the end of the year here, and the things that we've talked about all year. You want to be playing your best basketball at the end of the season, and hopefully we continue what we've done, because we have been so far. So just doing the little things correctly, I think we'll be in a good spot.
Well, we're excited for what's to come the next couple of weeks, especially tonight. But good luck.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you.
We'll be back right after this, recapping what's happened and looking forward to the next week. welcome back to Hawk Talk. Just going to recap real quick, just do our little banter back and forth as we always do. Looking at this past weekend, wrestling had their conference tournament, and Gresh Jones, he took second place to the #1 kid in the nation. And I saw a quote by him, and I mean, obviously that gives you great confidence too. And he only lost 5 to 6. So
and that's amazing because he was hurt
pretty much the whole season.
Almost the whole season,
So
and then he came back. He just did really well this season.
I mean, he's headed to nationals. He was on the show. Tanner Stone, who is also heading to nationals, he took 3rd place. And then we had a couple guys who took 4th and 5th, and a few guys who took 3rd. So we're awaiting a at-large bid to see if they'll make it to nationals. We haven't found that out yet, but it's just exciting to see that we got more guys headed to nationals, and I know the wrestling program is excited for that as well.
That's really cool. We had Coach Fleury on the show today, and Jaya on the show today. But softball went 3-1 this weekend down in South Dakota, which is amazing for their opening weekend. They beat Dort, which I didn't know was a place, and I'll admit she kept saying it, and I was like, yeah, the Dort game. Okay, but Dort is a school.
Yep.
We're not sure where it is, but it's a school, and they beat them, which is exciting. And they beat York. They lost to Morningside, and then they beat Dakota Wesleyan. So they had a great opening weekend.
Coach Fleury got her
300th win.
It was in 9 seasons in 1 game, so I mean that adds to her average. It basically took her 9 seasons to get 300 wins, which is incredible. That's just like
that's
congratulations
so cool.
again.
Good for her.
She's awesome.
Yeah. And women's basketball, they had their senior night, I don't know, whatever, last week. Afternoon, whatever time of day they played them, it was senior day. And they beat Presentation on their senior day. And then the next day they lost to Valley City in the opening round, which is too bad, but
their season's over. But it's
it was
like
good
we talked
season.
with Lacey a couple weeks ago, like just they had a great run. And it was fun to watch these girls who and Coach Lewis, her first 2 years, she's had great success, so we're looking forward to what comes in the off season, and then what turns around next October, because it's already going to start back up.
Gosh.
Men's track kind of had a disappointing weekend, I would say. They've been the reigning conference champs for indoor for the past 4 or 5 years. Ended up taking second to Dakota State. But Dakota State had a really great performance, and some of our guys had really great performances. Kane took first in the 60. Kane Boshi, he's been hurt pretty much the whole season too. So it's great to see him. He qualified for nationals in that. Tyler Quilling took first in triple. We've had him on the show. And Hoyt took first in the pole vault. So it's cool to see some of these guys just really doing really well. And then Cleet, we had him on last week. He took first in the heptathlon. So all 4 of those guys are heading to nationals in a couple weeks. To just really represent DSU and perform well.
That's so cool. Women's track, on the other hand, had a great weekend this weekend. They won the indoor conference for the first time ever.
First time ever,
right? Which is absolutely amazing.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, well deserved by those girls. But we had Peyton Herbst on the show. A couple times. Yeah, and she won the 600, the 800, and the 4x400 relay, which we talked about. I would never do any of those things. So oh my gosh, good for her. We had Kadara Marshall. Did we have her on the show?
I don't think.
Well, we should get her on the show because she's a very talented athlete, and she took first in the triple jump. Taylor Ludwig, right, first in the 400. Kenzie Grubbs, first in the 60-meter hurdles. Lexi Craig, first in pole vault. They just really swept.
Yeah. And we had a lot of second and third and even the 5th and 6th, which is how you win a conference championship. You get those lower end points, which really knocks other teams out.
Yeah.
So just exciting. They have a couple people heading to nationals as well, and we're excited, just to see how DSU track does in the indoor season or in the indoor national tournament. And then men's basketball, we just had Coach Vaughn on. They beat Presentation by 2 points, which is crazy because they beat us the first time around by 2 points on a buzzer beater. This time it was just a back and forth battle, and it's just exciting to see. Again, they went 6-1 in the past 7 games.
That's so crazy.
Just on a 6-game win streak, and I think they'll take it into the conference tournament. They're playing Valley City at home, and I'm not going to make Coach Vaughn look ahead, but I'm looking ahead, and I like our matchups. Just have to play one game at a time. I like our matchups. And Kenny Jackson, he was the player of the week, like we talked about. Well deserved. Had a season high 30 points. And I guess the North Star, they listened to us finally.
Well,
maybe
I sit and laugh.
about who we think should be the North Star, because we need to get some credit over here at DSU. We keep getting snubbed. But that's beside the point. Looking forward to what's happening this weekend with conference championships, with just sort of a restful weekend for some teams, and then next week is the national tournament. So we'll be back next week, but until then, Hawks are up.